Finding a place that's comfortable, bare feet, preferably, clothes or no clothes, but something you can move in freely. Just stand, notice contact with the ground. The idea here is that we're going to play with various sensations inside our body, maybe even listening to various sounds in the environment, and settle in on whatever's happening in some kind of a curious way. So the first thing we're going to do before we go into our squatitation is we're going to squat as a test and see how we feel. And now in this test squat, we're going to go down into a squat that's comfortable to a certain depth and to a certain position that we think we could hold for like minutes. And just notice how we feel. Notice where we are proprioceptively in relation to the ground. Where's our ass? What kind of angles are being made by our torso, our hips, our knees, our ankles? Just go down and notice. Don't go farther than is comfortable. Just notice where you're at. Okay, stand up, relax, and we're going to play a little game of squatitation. With our feet flat on the ground, in any way possible for you, put your hands flat on the ground. So feet flat on the ground, hands flat on the ground. Notice what our eyes are doing. Notice any sensations in the hips, in the ankles, in the feet, in the tips of the fingers, in the palm of either hand, in the neck. And then stand up and relax. Now with any of this that follows, there might be an incredible amount of focus or attending energy that takes place. And this could be tiring. Not necessarily physically tiring, but tiring in the sense that we're really using a lot of ourselves to play this game. So at any point, if you feel cranky in any way, stand up and relax. Be done with it. This is about exploration in a curious way. Okay, so now we're going to do a similar thing. We're going to have our feet flat on the ground, and we are going to put our hands flat on the ground. And once we put our hands flat on the ground, we're going to take our right hand and we're going to slowly move it while part of the hand is still touching the ground with this right hand. We're going to move it and try to get it so that our palm goes from being down on the ground flat to up in the air, and the back side of our hand is flat on the ground. So let's try this. Feet flat on the ground, hands flat on the ground, and I'm going to take the right hand, and while still one part of the hand touching, so maybe the pinky part of the right hand will roll over, still touching the ground. I'm going to see how it feels to go palm up. And then I'm going to roll it back to palm down. Okay, great. Stand up. So that's an example of one of the things we're going to explore in various ways. Now we're going to do it again. And this time when we get into it, the idea is that we're in this position with our feet flat on the ground and our hands on the ground in as comfortable a way as possible, so that we could be here for a long time. So if it feels like you're making it hard, play with making it easier somehow. Now we're going to do this many times where we take our right hand, both hands are flat to start, both and the feet are flat, and we're in this position where we're comfortably in all fours. We'll call it an all fours position. And we're going to many times roll over on the pinky part or the outside of that right hand. so it's still touching, and get it so it goes from palm down on the ground to palm up in the air. And we're going to do this many times. And now many times could mean 3 times, very slowly, or 30 times. But the idea is that we're going so slow that we can detect subtle differences in the wrist, in the elbow, in the shoulder, in the neck, in the hips, in the ankle, we're playing the game of attention with some aspect of ourselves. Ourselves being a rather loose term, but we're dialing in attention in a cocktail party effect kind of way to some aspect of how this is happening. And as we do this many times slowly, and I still haven't gone back into it, I'm just kind of describing this directive, this kind of loose directive. As we do this many times, can we seek curiously some way of doing it each time, each subsequent time, easier, softer, more playful, more natural feeling, in some way more economical than the time previous? So let's do this. Feet flat on the ground, hands flat on the ground, and I'm going to take that right hand and roll over the pinky part so the palm goes up. Then I'm going to roll it back, palm down. Many times. And as we slowly roll, palm down, palm up, are there interesting things that we notice kinesthetically? That can inform our next chance at it. Stand up and relax. Now when we're relaxing, just totally let go. And by totally let go, it's kind of a conundrum. Don't try to totally let go, just whatever. We're going to do it again, right hand again. And this time, I want to allow, and maybe you've already done this, that your hand can be placed in a different area beneath us or on the ground in front of us or next to our foot to the side, to the right or to the left, or way out in front or way back. But can we explore too where we put our hand as we're rolling our palm down and up along the ground, along the earth? Can we explore a positioning of our hand to start with that is even more comfortable than before? In whatever speed you were going last time when we do this many times with our right hand, moving the palm up, moving the palm down, can we go even slower this time? Okay, try it out. What's going on sensorially in the shoulder, in the neck? What are the eyes doing? What about the low back area, just above the buttocks? What about the left side of the body? How much pressure is on the left hand in terms of weight? Okay, stand up and relax. Just let go. Now, as we do this, keep in mind that these are loose directives, loose ideas. And if there's something interesting you want to explore, like a different way to move your hand, or you want to go somewhere else with this, the idea is that we're letting ourselves become aware of some aspect of the way this slow movement is happening. And we're finding increasingly pleasurable ways, perhaps, to do it. To do this interesting, novel positioning or movement-related happening. And the awareness itself is what's feeding information to our nervous system that might expand its network of possibilities, so to speak. And that information itself, that awareness itself, that info itself might grow what we can do and what the nervous system knows it can do comfortably. Okay, so let's do this again. Feet flat on the ground, hands flat on the ground. And this time, can we try to roll our right hand, instead of on the pinky, going from palm down to palm up, can we try to go palm down to start, rolling on the inside of our right hand, on our thumb side, along the thumb as the thumb still touches the ground, and the palm starts to go up, moving that way. Go. So now what am I having to do? What can we sense that my body is having to try to do, as we do this slowly, to even give this a chance of happening? And we can go under our second finger, our index finger also kind of as this is happening, and how can we move our hand in such a way? And now just explore curiously, how can we actually do this so that we're rolling on the inside of the right hand and we're actually getting to a place where the palm can face the sky? Where do we end up rolling onto? How does our body end up contorting? What are some of the sensations in the wrist? Up through the arm, into the shoulder, into the torso, into the hips. What are some things we can place our attention as this movement is happening? Okay, now stand up and relax. Now as we're relaxing, standing, maybe casually walking around, can we attend to some sensations in our standing self? These are all active. Posture is kind of implies like the static position. These are all active movement-related things. There's a lot moving, a lot being stable, and a lot being mobile anytime we're in any position that someone might call posturous or not. What are some sensations in the neck? Does the right side of the neck, let's look at some differences maybe. Does the right side of the neck feel different than the left side of the neck? Does the right shoulder feel different than the left shoulder? What about the length of the arm right now? Comparing the two. Does the left arm feel a certain length? And then what about the right arm in comparison? These are just open-ended ideas or open-ended questions for us to explore uniquely, because whatever is certain something for someone could totally be a certain something else for someone else. And the idea isn't that we're trying to get to a certain right or a certain place that we all agree on. It's that we're attending to ourselves, and that attention itself, that awareness will feed it's like nourishment to our nervous system. That the nervous system can do whatever it wants to at that point. Okay, so we're going to do this one more time. And this time, let's go back and forth between where we roll on the outside. We'll start with our palm down, and we're going to roll on the outside of the right hand, along the pinky side, palm up, and then we're going to slowly come back, to palm down, and then we're going to roll along the inside of our right hand, the thumb side and the index finger side, to palm up. And we're just going to go back and forth, noticing anything we notice curiously along the way. Let's do this many times. So that could be 2 times slowly, or it could be 20 times slowly. The idea is that we're staying in a comfortable place as far as how we're positioned in this quote, end quote, squat position to make this happen. It's really just any way we can do this, and each time we're feeling out more pleasure. If it gets cranky, if it gets uncomfortable at any moment, stand up, relax, be done. Okay. So down on the ground, hands flat on the ground. I'm going to roll on the outside of my right hand to get palm up. And then back to palm down. I'm going to roll on the inside. I can move my hand if I want to find a more comfortable position. Palm up and then back to palm down. What's the feeling in my ankle, my right ankle, my left ankle to make this happen? What's the feeling in my right hip, my low back? And choose areas to softly attend to. Perhaps. And stand up and relax at any point. At any time during this, if you want to go longer in a certain position, a certain movement exploration, or shorter, then do it. It's just a loose guidance. Now at the end of this, when this recording is done, which it will be soon, you can go on with your day, just as I can. Or you can explore this with the opposite side, with the left hand doing this. And then you can play around alternate, right, left, or do them at the same time. Or that's up to each of us individually. What I like to do sometimes is focus on one side and then leave and let it be. And let the nervous system share what was experienced on one side across the whole organism, and share that information throughout the course of the next day, throughout the course of the next hour, whatever, and let that, what was learned or through awareness on the right side, be shared throughout the totality of this kind of unending self, and just let that be what it will. I've noticed before that if I do something on one side and then leave, it feels, my right side feels longer, I feel looser, and I wonder if that's just going to be dominated on the right side or kept on the right side, and the left side won't experience that. And what I'll notice is throughout the day, the left side gradually will start to feel longer too. But it doesn't always happen right away. So, and that's just my personal experience sometimes. So I like to do that sometimes, where I play on one side and then leave it. Let the nervous system, again, do what it wants with this information of awareness. Okay. So, now, let's, like we did in the beginning, we're going to do a squat, or just get it down in that position where we're just on our feet and we squat down comfortably. Let's do this as a kind of a retest, or kind of a looking at what changes we might notice in that squat position versus that very first squat we did. So go ahead and squat down. Do you notice that you're in a different depth? Maybe does one side feel different than the other? Does one side feel deeper almost? What about the length of the arms in comparison to each other? What about the feeling or the sensations in the neck or in the spine, in the shoulders, versus each other? What about the feeling or the sensation in the ankles? How do the feet feel on the ground? Okay. Come up. Relax. Enjoy.